what I like to hear. Here on our panel we have our D and PS, and we're gonna go around and kind of say what school we're from. So let's rep your school. What school are y'all from?
East High School.
School are you from?
North High School.
East High School.
Roosevelt.
Y'all better say it louder for the people in the back can hear you.
What school are you from?
Roosevelt.
We got an elementary. All right. Let's get this panel started. So I'm your moderator for tonight. My name is January Hudson, and we're going to start the night off with a performance from Destiny.
Thank you. It's dope to be here for you guys. I actually go by Desi X. I make music, I do poetry, I model, I write short fiction, I do kind of a lot. But today I'm gonna do a song called Denial for You. It's off of my project, 5 Rhythms of Grief. Has denial, anger, bargaining, all of that. So we're just gonna go ahead and dive into it. That's not me.
Yeah, who I am, cut the record like
Undelivered, why won't my message send? Got me stuck trying to clear out the cobwebs. Keep asking myself why I deal with the nonsense. Blogging is toxic, you keep on watching me. Do you like what you see? You aren't who you claim to be. Evidence is a test, you are cheap. I can't believe it. How could things crumble when I gave my all? The lies you built so tall were our downfall in the end. There's no secret I held on for way too long. Now I'll forever bear the scars. You were our downfall from the beginning. I loved you way too gently. You shaped my heart and you made it filthy. I'm weak, you got me weak destinies. If you ask for $1, I'm chopping down trees. And all I ask is that you care for me. You warm my heart and then cut it, I'm freezing. You fight me like I'm the demon. Trying to talk to you with reason. You're in denial like a season. Changing up on me, I can't believe it. I refuse to, I just can't. I can't believe it. How could things crumble when I gave my all? The lies you built so tall were our downfall in the end. There's no secret I held on for way too long. Now I'll forever bear the scars. You were our downfall from the beginning. Your presence became addicting. The only question I have for you is how could you love me and hate me too?
And that is Denial. Thank you guys very much.
All right, our next performer for the night is going to be Shay Bay.
Okay, my name is Shay Bay. I am 17 years old. My school, I go to Lincoln, and these are my backup dancers. And before I start performing, can you guys do a little something for me? Can y'all say Shay and I say Bay? Shay! Bay! Shay! Bay! I'm ready. Tell me, can you do it? Tell me, can you do it? Tell me, can you do it? Take a look at me, cause I'm pressure. Push a push, give him to him salt and pepper. Representing from the D, I put the season on it. I burn the track, I'm soon as I start breathing on it. High school cute, buried all tight. You're running at the mouth, but it's all high. You don't want a problem, you don't want to fight. Keep that same energy with shade, baby, on sight. Walk through the doors, all eyes on me. Got me looking, got a stand like a PAC. In my mind, I'm bigger than BAG. I'ma hit it like Janet, it's the DAE. Tell me, can you do it? Tell me, can you do it? Tell me, can you do it? That pressure, babe. Talking loud like lectures. You a lightweight, I'm precious. LLC on my own merch. T-shirts, hat, got my own work. I see you checking on me, do your homework. Got a shady baby bag, I don't need a bird. Attitude, I get it from my mama. Talent, I get it from my mama. If a ratchet, I get it from my mama. If you wanna burn, you can get it from my mama. Easy, better believe me. I'm trying to get it like easy, yellow peasy. Ain't no need to be sleazy, it won't feed me. I can help it that agree. I'm trying to get it, so tell me, can you do it? Tell me, can you do it? Tell me, can you do it? That pressure, babe. I'm pressure. It takes a whole lot. You can get on my level. I can hear you talk a lot like lectures. You a lightweight, I'm precious. When I step out, I'm pressure. It takes a whole lot. You can get on my level. I can hear you talk a lot like lectures. You a lightweight, I'm precious. Shape, baby, on sight. I got it like that. You're running up the mountain. That's all high. You're running up the mountain. High school cute, buried all tight. You don't want a problem, you don't want to fight. High school cute, buried all tight. You don't want to fight, you don't want to fight. Tell me, can you do it? Tell me, can you do it? Tell me, can you do it? When I step out, I'm pressure. It takes a whole lot. You can get on my level. I can hear you talking loud like lectures. You are lightweight, I'm precious. I love you guys. Thank you.
Let's give it up for our performers one more time. Alright, and before we kind of start, we're going to have Nico start us off in prayer. So Nico.
Good evening. Shall we pray? God, we thank you for gathering us all here today. We pray right now that we will all have open hearts, open ears to listen, to receive. Let nobody think they have all the answers. Let nobody be afraid to speak up and speak and say what's on their mind, oh God. We pray that you will be edified, that you will be glorified in the midst of this entire conversation, and help it to not be just a conversation that happens tonight. But when we leave here, Father, help us to have some ideas of what we can do to make Des Moines a better place, to make our schools a better place, to make just the young people, Father God, feel safe wherever they're going. Help them to have a voice. Help them to understand they do have a voice, and help us as adults to receive what they say, whether we like it, whether we agree with it or not. Just listen, and we can learn from one another. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
Thank you, Nico. All right, another little disclaimer before we start. We do have a lot of questions being asked tonight. We're going to have our panel talk. We're going to have some people from the audience talk, and we're even going to get some student input. We have some elementary school students, we have some East students, and we have more students. I don't know what school you guys are from, and some Roosevelt students. So just a little disclaimer to kind of stay on topic so that we can get the right stuff written down. So maybe we can give it to our school board, and this data can be collected so our voices are actually heard. Before we start, we're going to turn to our panel, and we're going to go with name, occupation if you're an adult, or school.
Tiano, Seeds Cuts, Smith, True Barber Apprenticeship.
My name is Ariana, and I'm in 5th grade. My name is Comfort Tolwalisha, and I go to Roosevelt High School.
My name is Jamasia Hudson, and I go to North.
My name is Desire Miller, and I go to Roosevelt.
My name is Isabella Martinez, and I am with Infinite Resources as a social media specialist.
My name is Aaron Harnden, and I go to East High School.
My name is Alante Gross, and I go to North High School.
Let's give it up for our panel.
Alright, so we're going to kick off the night kind of starting what we did back with our other town hall. And we're going to talk about mental health because we have had a lot of people asking more about mental health. So we're going to kind of hear from our panel and what they think about it. And the people in the audience kind of save your questions for later because you guys will have a time to talk about it. So the first question that we have is, what are some struggles you have seen or heard students go through within schools, home, or even in our community?
Some struggles I've seen within our school is just students having the motivation to go to school in general or do their schoolwork. And I mean, teachers and counselors, they'll get upset at the students for not doing the simple things that they have to do, but don't really take a look at what's going on with the student at home, whether there's personal things going on with that student that's causing them not to have that motivation to want to actually do something with their education.
Yeah, and to piggyback off that, I think another problem with mental health within our schools is the ability to reach out to our teachers for help. A lot of teachers, whenever they are brought up with mental health, especially recently, are not equipped to handle it like in a helpful way.
The lack of support is very low in Des Moines public schools, or just in general when it comes to the youth. The lack of support from home, families, but also the teachers and friends. I just think overall support just needs to be something that's more intentional when it comes to students. Support goes a long way. It can affect somebody's emotions, mentally, it can affect how someone feels about themselves, how they feel about where they are and around their just surroundings. So I just feel like the lack of support is a big factor in people's mental health.
I feel like a big problem with mental health in schooling is the workload and like the pressure it puts on students. There's a lot of kids who I've talked to, and like even myself, who have like a bunch of clubs and clubs that they do, and like things outside of school that they do, and then they have to go to school and get workloads of homework and stuff, and they have to go home. They probably have chores. They probably have to help around the house, and a lot of it like builds up, and then eventually it leads to burnout, which also leads to a lack of motivation, which a lot of teachers and like staff doesn't. It's not that they don't care, but they have a lot of other kids, so they can't really focus on that one child who having a problem. So then they just say like, keep it moving. That's how the real world is. But a lot of people don't have the energy to even like get up and even start moving and start walking.
So we talk a lot about staff and teachers not doing their job, but mental health also, the biggest part, it grows from home. And there's a lot of students who, go home and their parents work 2 jobs, or their parents don't care to like have them talk, like they can't talk to them when they go home. So yeah.
I also agree with the motivation and burnout, and I also feel like taking a break isn't something normalized. Like, if you take a break, then you're going to be behind on work. So you don't take a break, and then you're tired all the time, and then you just don't have enough energy to put forth your best effort.
I hope that everybody that is in very hard things have good smartness in themselves, and always keep your good work. Good job.
Mental health. Speaking of mental health, I know you guys. Oh, I'm too close to the speaker.
Just stand up. Go
All right. Scoot back a little bit. This way. Thank you. I'm sure you guys heard about that standoff. What was it, day before yesterday, out at the hotel or motel or whatever. That was my brother, my blood brother, same dad. And yeah, like mental health is deeply rooted and it should be attacked early. As far as, her age, people go through stuff and they never deal with it. And if you never deal with it, you're gonna carry it on from a child to, an adult like my brother. My brother is 42 years old. Mental health is very, very important. It's very important you take care of your mental health, because if you don't, you get these kind of results. Like, he's been doing this the past 20 years, literally 20 years. He's been in prison more than he's been free. And this is deeply rooted. This is not just, he is an idiot a little bit, but this is something that's way deeper than, what's on the surface. So it is very important that you guys talk to somebody about, your mental health. I know, life is hard. We all go through stuff. And I got a cousin who was, molested as a child. She drinks crazy. You know what I mean? So it's not a good thing, you know what I mean? So it's very important you guys get that out and talk to whoever will listen. And I think there should be more, therapists in schools, so the kids can talk to regularly.
Kind of following that question, we kind of want to ask, what do you guys think can help resolve these problems? How do you guys think we can tackle them and kind of get to the root to mental health? And anybody can start, it doesn't matter.
So I'm a student at North High. We're kind of on a journey of tackling it right now. Me and my former partner actually run a mental health group, because a lot of students are scared to talk to adults, and I feel like we feel like we can, they feel us more. If a student goes up to an adult, yeah, they might touch base on how they feel, but they might not feel like they're being understood or they feel them. So it's kind of our jobs to, like, yeah, I feel you, I went through that. So, they feel more comfortable.
I think one way that can definitely help is, it's hard to explain because in my opinion, I feel like it's all connected. With like mental health problems, it happens in the home, it happens at school. There isn't very much resources, and even the resources that are there, they're not talked about enough. And I feel like schools, instead of like focusing on very important things like mental health and how it affects like your academic like success, they focus on like arbitrary things like attendance and stuff like that, which is important. But I feel like a reason a lot of kids are absent is because they don't want to be in class because somebody there makes them uncomfortable, the teacher makes them uncomfortable. I have a lot of friends that don't go to class because they don't have work done, and it's not because they don't want to do the work, it's because they physically can't, they don't have the time or they don't have the energy. And I think schools being more understanding and then also having
Let's just speak a little louder.
But schools also having, yeah, you're right. Okay. Schools also should have more like therapists and counselors that actually do anything. Because I think there's counselors they don't do anything except for like manage like. Is that on? Go
Okay, but nothing against counselors, but I feel like they don't actually counsel. They just focus on, you know, like changing people's classes and stuff, which is obviously important. But I think having at least people who know about resources so kids can come in and find those resources, and actually having mental health clubs and mental health departments in school instead of like hall monitors that, you know, go and harass a bunch of kids because they're not in class when they could be using like workers to do something actually important. And it kind of sounds like I'm like dogging on like those like jobs, which I'm not, but I feel like if we can have those, if we can have like police officers in schools, we can have therapists in schools, and you can use that money to pay those therapists and people who actually give kids like options, because yeah.
Mandatory to have math classes and to have these many credits and doing these many things in English classes. It should be just as important for kids to have another place to go to for mentorship. Not everybody has a mom and dad at home. Not everybody has a supportive family, and it's really unfortunate, but it's really how it is. That's the reality of living this life. And, you know, schools, they preach that, oh, we want to teach kids this, we want to teach kids that, but at the end of the day, we're not supporting the children of our community with the basics, which is how to be confident in yourself, how to go about life. We don't even learn how to pay taxes, and we're expected to right out of high school, and it's very backwards, and you have to question the system a little bit in that on what's really important to the system when it comes to our youth. You know, you just have to think about that, and if people really want things to change, it comes from schools. Yes, it does come from the homes, but you can't change every home in the United States, you know? So what can we change? The schooling. So I feel like it should be mandatory, like they said, to not only have groups, but full-on classes, full-on things that are focusing on mental health, on how to operate on your emotions, you know? Like, they should be going deep into it, and kids would actually be engaged. Kids will be engaged, you know? The kids that you don't think will be engaged, they will be engaged because they're smart, intellectual, emotional beings. And if they feel supported, then they will pay attention.
I would say, like, along with focusing on what's going on at home and causing students to feel the way they feel, it's also about breaking down those barriers that are making students feel like they don't want to get help. The stigmas that are affecting students' ways of speaking up to ask for help, because whether that's saying, oh, you're so weak if you speak up because you're not feeling well mentally, or whether it's something going on at home, like your parents think you're weak because you don't feel well mentally. So I feel like before like making those resources more known, we need to focus on breaking down those barriers so students will actually utilize those resources.
I think another issue along with mental health in schools is student-led clubs like SOS, which I'm a leader of.
What school?
East High School, sorry. When somebody approaches a teacher about their mental health and what like support groups that they can join, common times they aren't really referred to student-led organizations such as SOS or Stop Out Stigma, who advocate for mental health and are able to help and educate people on mental health. And I think reference to that and giving teachers training on how to handle situations like that would benefit the students greatly.
I agree with all of you about what you had to say about the school aspect, and I wanted to go back to the home aspect because I feel like sometimes when you come home and you have to do all these things, that just only adds on to all the stuff that you have to do at school. And then I saw this post on Instagram and it really summed it up really well. And they're talking about it's not how I don't want to have a clean room, it's that I just can't right now because I'm dealing with all these other things. So as it can be hard as a parent to be like, oh, why is the house always dirty? But it's also like I don't want it to be dirty. It's just right now I can't deal with this aspect and I need to do other things.
All right, and this is for our youth on the panel. And I know often we kind of think about teachers not listening to us or yada, 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 but also we're not really thinking about the teachers. So this question is kind of asking you guys, what can teachers do to help? I know that many people don't reach out, but for those teachers who are trying to help, what can they do better to help? I don't know if you guys kind of understand it like that, but.
What teachers can help is they would help us out by talking positive and they would ask us if who's the ones being mean, and they'll have a little talk with them. And yeah.
Yeah, I also agree with that, and I feel like just extending the if you need to talk to me about this because you can't get this done right now is really nice, rather than to be like, oh, you can't get this done, well that sucks, I can't help you kind of attitude.
I feel like just being there, just being there.
I think that teachers can, first off, like, show that they're there because, and like build relationships with their students. If they like have one time during class where they pass a paper out, well, one of my teachers actually used to do this, but pass a paper out and like say like, how do you feel today? What's been going on? And you know, some kids might not like take that offer and actually say their feelings, but others will. And they'll feel comfortable enough to talk about their problems. In one of my classes last year, I don't remember if I told this for the last time, but there was somebody there, and like we were just talking about like mental health and like bigotry and stuff like that, and they felt comfortable enough to like open up and actually like start talking about their struggles and talking about like what's happened to them. And I won't go into the specifics because that's not my story to tell, but basically I thought it was like, not nice because her story wasn't nice, but I think it was nice that they felt comfortable enough to even say that in front of an entire group of students. And I think if teachers really like push it out there that they're there, because a lot of my teachers don't ever talk about mental health or anything like that, they don't even bring it up. So a lot of kids don't build that connection with them, and a lot of kids feel disconnected from their teachers, and they don't form close relationships. So I think like putting a little board on your wall that has like therapist posters and telling all your kids on the first day that you can come talk to me about anything, anytime, and I won't tell them. Even if you are like a mandated reporter, I've seen teachers who like haven't actually done that, and I mean, of course, they're putting their job in danger, but I think not doing that is also putting the kids' lives in danger because they don't feel like they can talk to people. So then it ends up boiling over, and they end up, you know, killing themselves and stuff like that because a kid can't learn anything if they die in the next 3 years. It doesn't matter.
I know at North, our teachers do a real good job trying to connect with our students and grow those bonds. So, but me, I am in leadership, I am in Senate, so I do feel like I have a voice, but me being that leader, it makes me go back to think about those who are good leaders, but, you know, are too scared to go up and make sure their voice is heard. And I did say our teachers are good, but at the end of the day, most of our schools do need to do a good job of, you know, bringing in those students who are scared to speak up and have a voice, or kind of just, you know, lure them in and making them feel, you know, comfortable enough to have their voice heard.
I do feel like I have one or two teachers I can talk to about, maybe not about like very deep things, but surface level things. And I know Roosevelt has a student leadership collective, and it's basically like students have a say in their education, but on the mental health side, I'm not really sure if we have any clubs like that.
The teacher that makes me happy every day is Miss Bella, because she is very positive to others and very nice to me and other students, and she was my third grade teacher.
Alright, and this next question is kind of for everybody on the panel. Does anybody else want to talk?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, go ahead.
So at East anyways, I feel like a lot of people have a voice of what they want and need help with, especially with mental health. Student organizations help a lot. It helped me whenever I was struggling with my own mental health, and I know it's helped a lot of people over at East. I think over at East we do a pretty good job of having a good connection with our teachers and being able to speak out about how we're feeling. And student organizations, like I said, they help dramatically and are able to help anyone that is struggling with mental health in that way.
Another thing about the voice thing and like the student led things, I think there should be a lot more like diversity and representation in those type of spaces, because, well, like me, I don't really care. I like join anything and like I do anything no matter who's there. But I have a lot of friends who don't want to join certain clubs and don't want to do certain things because the people there, they don't know. And I think having people that they feel comfortable being around, because like I'll tell my friend to join a club or join like do this or whatever, and they'll be like, oh, that's like too many white people. And nothing against like white people, but they're like, it's that certain group of like people who, I don't want to say control everything because that feels stupid, but like who like are always in the leadership spots and always are in the spotlight and are always talking and they're all friends and they all know each other. Something like that.
Like you're getting perfect. You're angry.
But yeah, they're all friends and they all know each other, and a lot of people get into things, like get into clubs and get into these things that you have to apply for by being friends with those people and by knowing those people. And I feel like it scares a lot of students, especially if you don't fit the mold, to not like be blunt, but mostly the mold is like, you know, white people who like have Stanleys and like live around there or whatever. And you know, a lot of kids are scared to speak up because they feel like they wouldn't fit in those spaces, which they won't. But it kind of feels like they don't even get the chance because there's nobody there who looks like them. There's nobody there that acts like them or talks like them or has their experiences. So it leaves a lot of kids feeling alienated because the students that are making decisions, not to say they're making bad decisions and not to speak down on them, but they don't have the same sort of insight and like as other kids. So the choices they make, and even like small stuff like the homecoming games, a lot of kids don't like the homecoming games at Roosevelt because it was a certain group of kids that picked them. And like even with bigger decision making, they don't get their voices heard and the things they actually want because they're not represented. And it's not fully the group's fault, like the school's fault, that they personally don't feel like, you know, personally don't have the courage to speak up and join those places. But I think it'd be easier for them to even go into those places and get their voice heard if there was people that looked like them and if there was more like actual action, representation and action being shown that this group and this, whatever they say, actually cares about the students' things.
Kind of following that, kind of for everybody on the panel, including our adults, because we kind of want to hear from you guys as well. What support systems do we feel like we need to be enforced in schools to help our students be more efficient
in the learning environment?
If I had to guess, I mean, honestly, I heard what you guys said about the teachers, you know, but you gotta look like, you know, they're adults too. You know, they're people too, they got lives too, they got stuff going on outside of school and dealing with how many kids? You know what I mean? So everybody's like going through something, right? So I would say, you know, pretty much you gotta be able to lean on each other. People have to be able to lean on each other. You know, especially if like a child needs some help, you know, I can see that, you know, you running up, it's an emergency, yeah, teacher go out your way to do that, you know what I mean, take care of that child. But honestly, other than that, I really don't know, but yeah, you just gotta be able to lean on each other and talk to other people.
I feel like schools, I know right now especially, there's a lack of assistance for teachers, and there should be more like assistance, either that's coming from the district hiring people, or parents or families helping in the classrooms. And it should be like someone people can trust and build bonds with, because going to someone just every other time who's a new person is scary, and you're not going to be able to communicate as much. And also, if there are things like therapists in schools, there should be representation of therapists, because, well, a white therapist may not understand the experiences that I'm coming from and help me deal with the things that I'm dealing with, because experiences are different and it can be hard to give advice when you're coming from a different background.
Going back off of the therapist things, yeah, we do talk about teachers, but at the end of the day, teachers are mandatory reporters, and counselors and therapists are two different things. Like for North, our counselors, we don't go to, you know, talk about our feelings. We go to schedule futuristic things like college. What are you guys gonna do for college, and what classes do you want to take?
Keep going.
What classes do you want to take prior to that? It's never, how are you doing today? Or how has things been going? How are things at home? It's never like that. And you know, when kids do express that, I'm going to report that. If a kid's saying, if a kid's saying, oh, you know, I do feel like I want to end my life, it's right to, I'm going to report that I have to call the police, instead of, why are you feeling this way? What can I do to help that? You know, do you have a parent at home that you can talk to? It's really never that. So yeah, I feel like we need more therapists for people to actually sit down, and even for staff to sit down and talk to. So yeah.
Me personally, I feel like the way people are putting it is, well, at least me personally, what I'm trying to say is I don't want to put it all on teachers. I'm not saying teachers should have to try and build a connection and talk to every 250 students they have, but I think there should be systems and groups and clubs in schools that are built into the schools, as, you know, integral as football is to, you know, Roosevelt and all these other schools and all these sports that they're so proud about. There should be systems and what is the word I'm looking for?
Procedures.
Sure. Yeah, there should be like,
policy to support you.
No, like
structure.
Like programs. That's what I was looking for. Programs. There should be programs in schools for mental health and for therapists, and there should be places where kids can go. They shouldn't have to go to one singular person. It should be a group collective, because that's the only way it's going to work. You can't put it all on 5 teachers to manage 1,000 students' feelings. There should be programs with multiple people at the top making decisions for it, so kids can go there and already be set and plan. As much as they plan for football and as much as they put money into, nothing against football, I like football again, but that's just an example I'm using. As much as money they put into football and all these other, clubs and things that schools that they care so much about, they should put in things that are most important. Because again, like I said earlier, a kid can't learn, a kid can't play football, a kid can't be a basketball prodigy if they kill themselves. At the end of the day, they can't. So I think that's the most important thing, is working on programs and actual structured things for kids to lean on, things that are built into the school, not a singular teacher who decides one day that they want to be a mentor and try to help everybody, and then now everybody's upset because the teacher can't handle 300 kids, crying to them. And there should be places where kids have privacy and and be able to talk to who they want to talk to and have that privacy, and there shouldn't be mandated reporters, because I feel like adults get that respect and being able to talk to people and have it stay private, and be able to talk about their feelings and have it stay private. But a lot of kids don't get that luxury, so when they say something, it can go back to their parent. And some kids are okay with that, but other kids have abusive parents, other kids have parents that don't care, and other kids, if they say things that are happening to them at home and it gets back to the parents, their situation is going to be 10 times worse. And not to say that the school doesn't care about that, but I think they should do things to prevent that. Because honestly, I don't see the help in a kid saying that they want to kill themselves and then you call the police and the kid is like deathly afraid of police, and now you just made it worse. The police aren't going to do anything to help that kid not feel that way. They can take the kid off the building, but the kid is just going to walk right back up the steps and go right back to the edge of that building if you don't actually go into the root problem and work on their mental health and the things that they're going through.
I agree with what everyone's saying. I feel like we're all on the same page when it comes to like the support that student needs, but again, it comes back to the system, really, to how the U.S. operates. I feel like the school system specifically, can really just do a better job overall with certain things. As a city, we could do better things. Funding should be, the first priority should be schools. It should be. It shouldn't be new buildings, not new stadiums. Colleges should be funding our elementaries, our middle schools, our high schools, because those are going to be your future college students. So at the end of the day, it really comes back to holding the system accountable. And I'm very happy that y'all are up here, advocating all these ages. I'm glad that all these adults are here, because this is what's going to change the system. The system is something hard to tackle, but when we do tackle it and when we do start, really being heard in our system, that's when things are going to change for the better. Which then overall just means a better life for everybody, because I know everybody's struggling in their own way. And yeah, I just think that, all these issues, they're all, yes, we can make them better in the schools, and keep trying to do that, keep advocating in your schools and for your students, but also don't be afraid to hold the system accountable for what what our situation is, so.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you guys said, pretty much covered everything. But I would say, yes, the school system, they do focus more on the future and not on the now. They put more effort and time into the future. But if we're not focusing on the now, what future is there going to be? We need to focus on the mental health of our youth population now, because if we too focus on the future, on what they're going to be, on what roles they're going to take over, half our population was gone because they killed themselves because they wasn't getting the help that they need in order to be prepared or ready for the future. Because they always talk about, when it comes to the future, you're going to be taking on these adult responsibilities, paying taxes, bills, possibly taking care of kids, but how am I supposed to know how to do all that? What support do I have? If I can't even be supported mentally now, what makes you think I'm going to be supported in the future?
Okay, I know. kind of gonna switch mics here. So, okay. I'm just gonna use my voice. Okay. All right. So I know there's a lot of youth in the audience right now, and I know you guys probably have a lot to say, just like our kids on the panel. So I know the reason why most of us are here is because we're trying to put a stop to things. We're trying to resolve things and find recognition to things that we think that we can fix. So I kind of want to ask some of our youth in the panel, our elementary kids, our middle school kids, if there is any, and our high schoolers. What can we do in helping recognize students, teachers, and people within our communities cry for help?
Do you want me to like stand up there, or? You can stand up there. I feel like I'm like my back's to be on. And so, what was the question?
What can we do in helping recognize students, teachers, and people within our communities cry for help?
Okay, so I think a lot of times like the mental health, especially in schools, as that is a big part of youth life, a lot of time it's overlooked like how overwhelming things can be. As youth, all of us are in school, most of us are employed doing different extracurricular activities, sports, our schedules are packed, and I think oftentimes that is overlooked by adults. A lot of times, like, adults in my life tell me like, oh, you're not overwhelmed, you're not busy because I'm working like a full-time job and all this stuff. But I think it's often overlooked like how youth are like basically working many full-time jobs with school, with their homework and with their jobs and stuff like that. But I also feel like there's a huge cry for help with our educators. They're very overwhelmed, very burnt out, and having as many students as they do and having like the big crisis of mental health that we have, I think often it gets overlooked how important it is to offer support to those people that need to be supporting our youth as well. There needs to be programs for adults to have that support because they struggle with mental health too, and I think often that gets overlooked when we're talking about mental health. It is very, very important for youth and to be focused when we are young and how to support that mental health and how to learn to navigate the emotions and the thoughts and the motivations. But I think a big part of it is you can't help other people if you're not in a good point yourself, you know what I mean? You can't give if you're not able to take as well, you know what I mean? So I think it's super important that we have programs and different supports in place for our staff and for our adults as well.
I think a lot of people have the perception that mental health is only if someone's sad or like really like down or really quiet, and like just in general they're not happy. Like it's like, oh, if you're not happy, you're depressed or anything. But mental health goes really further than that, because I know me personally, I go through a lot, but like I kind of just don't show it because that's just how I deal with it. And people be like, oh, well, mental health only exists when you're young. It's just how you are. Like you get over it when you're older. But I have a lot of older family members who were once children with mental health, with unhealed trauma that follows them into adulthood that they just never heal from. And people wonder why they get into drugs or they get into drinking, or even now as children we also cope in many ways that we shouldn't, but it's because we have no resources and no one to help us, that's the easy way out. And I know me growing up in a Mexican household, it's really hard to speak out about mental health because it's seen like, no, you're crazy, like you're just making it up, like you're dramatic. But at the same time, our parents, when they grew up, it was seen that way to them, so they chose not to speak out about it, and they're projecting it onto us. And it's really like, it's sad because we can't speak up, but I feel like we need to also recognize that our parents also went through stuff, that we should also be there for them too, and also our teachers who have their own personal lives, who are just trying their absolute best to help us as much as they can. And you know, it is really hard, you know, because I do see a lot of my family members, you know, change how they are because of mental health issues, and I really wish that I could help them, but you know, you can't really help someone that doesn't want help. But since, you know, a lot of us now, we are speaking now in mental health, I'm so glad that it's being spoken up about, because before it was not. And I think having a good community of people that are willing to help out and speak about it, just like, for me, like when I got into like the SOS group, I don't know, in a way, it really helped me because I was always scared to speak out, and when I got into the group, I was really nervous, but it made me feel so like, I don't know, I feel so welcome, and so like I can speak about how I feel, and it gave me a voice of my, my personal mental health. And I don't know, it really benefited me a lot, and I really hope that we encourage not to just have mental health groups for children, but also teenagers and also adults, and also get them the help that they need, because mental health never stops. Mental health is always continuing. People have cycles, that just keep going. I have my cycles where I have my depressive episodes. Depression is not a short amount of time. There's anxiety, there's more that goes into it, and I think we should normalize it instead of making it seem that we need help. And yeah, that's all.
Check. Alright, which is louder, and they're on. Okay. Alright, so there are going to be kind of a bit more opportunities for our youth in the audience to talk. I have a lot more questions for you guys. But as RJ and I, we made this town hall, we kind of made it so people can feel uncomfortable. We want to touch on topics that people don't want to talk about. And that's what we're here for. So if the superintendent was here, trust me, we would have some questions for them. So if you are feeling uncomfortable in the audience, that's what we're here for. We're here to make a change, and you're not going to make a change if you're comfortable in the spot that you're in. So with that being said, I kind of want to hear from our officers a little bit. So yeah, I'm just kind of put you on blast a little bit. I know you guys are in our community and you guys work for the MPS. So I kind of want to touch base on the cry out for help type of thing. I know you guys kind of work with a lot of people throughout the day. So if you guys kind of say something like, how do you guys think that you guys can help our community and help these people who do cry out for help?
Oh, that's a really